What was your name, sir?
Filipos.
Filipos. And who are we joined with? Joe?
Joe.
Nice to meet you guys. I just had a few questions. How many years you guys been here? Or have you...
The vigil has been here since 1981, but there's influences on the vigil, and my godfather was here in November of 1978 with picket signs.
Okay.
Yeah, and it became 24 hours a day June 3rd of 81.
And what was the major push for this to start?
Well, he had two signs in his hands. One side said wanted wisdom and honesty. The other side had the nuclear non-proliferation. It's a well-known anti-nuclear non-proliferation.
And that's like one of the signs right there? That
No.
wanted wisdom and honesty?
Well, yeah, the wanted wisdom and honesty.
Okay.
But it was on a picket board. It was his own writing, semi-sloppy, but it's you can read it. And then the backside said no human rights violations, and the other side said world peace.
Okay.
So his signs, people like to say that it started out by him only standing up against nuclear weapons, but actually, I take what his sign said. He was always against human rights violations. He was always for world peace, and of course, nuclear non-proliferations. Because this is a statement of what we want anybody that's elected, anybody throughout the United States. We want, if you sit on school board and you're elected, we want wisdom and honesty out here. If you're a mayor of a city,
Like any public servant?
anyone that's elected into office, we want wisdom and honesty out here. Of course, that includes House of Representatives, governors, Senate, so the entire Congress. That includes the presidency and the vice presidency, and they all on this book.
Awesome. Let's see what this book is, guys. Look at that.
Which I don't always agree with, at least the authors of this book, on what they truly felt life was supposed to be like, or what other lives were supposed to be diminished to be.
Yeah.
And then they put a book on top of this, and the Supreme Court Justice inaugurates them. Do you vow to protect the Constitution and the people of the United States of America from all enemies, foreign and domestic? And they always say, I do. They're not in Congress without saying I do. They're not in presidency, they're not vice president.
They're not even police, right? Don't even police have to do an oath?
They do. They don't put their hands over it.
Okay.
And they do it according to their state laws.
Gotcha.
Because, the state laws.
Because states govern.
Yeah. So then, but our military, they do it in a group, after they've done their 6 months of basic training, where they all at the same time are vowing to protect the Constitution and the people of the United States of America. So that's all. That's not that. If there's 5 people that stay quiet, they might really truly not be vowing to that. And you wouldn't notice that 5 people out of graduating 1,800, and that has just finished going through basic training. So, but in this, audio on it has them each individually vowing to protect the Constitution and the people of the United States of America. They get into Congress, and they actually prove they don't even know the laws.
Yeah, that they swore an oath to.
Yeah. So I say, before they ever are allowed to run for any of the federal positions, in Congress, presidency, vice presidency. I point over there because Eisenhower Executive Building is where the offices of the vice president.
Okay.
Then they shouldn't be allowed to run if they can't pass the test.
Yeah, and there should be like similar to the same tests immigrants have to take to become a citizen.
Know the U.S. history better than the average person that grew up here.
And I've noticed that sitting on the National Mall for the past month, talking to people from other countries, they can hold a conversation no problem. They know what they're talking about.
Talk to the convoy guys over there?
Yeah, I've recorded some of them. But
yeah, they're funny.
Yeah. And then also, how accomplished do you feel after all this time?
Well, 10,287 nuclear warheads disarmed by the Bill Clinton administration, 938 disarmed by Barack Obama, but also he signed $1.1 trillion for the keep of the nuclear arsenal instead of using that money for maybe disarming more. So I felt that Barack, he hit it from both ends.
Made both sides happy.
There's a lot of things that placater in chief. There's a lot of things on international diplomacy that I don't like about Bill. A lot of things, but he did budget the U.S. He was the U.S. budget. So then, I mean, you know,
have you had any like
we
official?
haven't had a perfect president. That's just as fact.
Have you had any officials like come by you, like congressmen or anyone interview you before?
Yeah, yeah, I have. But,
Okay.
You know, I don't.
So you think
if
that?
I talked to you quite a few times, I might release some names.
Yeah, you know, I don't want no names, but you think being here has drawn enough attention to even congressmen to get stuff changed?
Even
So-
presidents.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got governors. You got governors.
Oh yeah, I've had governors. I mean,
Okay.
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse, yeah,
And were you here for the lightning the other night?
yeah.
What was that like?
Well, I was looking this way, so, and.
Were you
I
in your
was under-
I
was
imagine?
under- no. I was
Okay.
under- when it's raining, I'm underneath an umbrella.
Okay.
So I'm underneath an umbrella, and the wind wasn't too bad. It was raining, but it wasn't like if it was a hard wind and raining, then I was not in there. But it was just coming like down. It was coming down horridly.
It was like buckets,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And so I'm facing this way. So I just noticed that the sky got bright. And I mean, I noticed lightning rods that probably hit Arlington or Annandale. I'm noticing lightning rods that hit the lower neck of Maryland, you know. I'm noticing lightning rods that maybe hit Alexandria if you go straight on down, you know. So I'm just thinking, okay, there's lightning in the area. My umbrella, it has a hard plastic middle, not a metal middle, and I'm holding it, but hard plastic. It doesn't have metal on it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my wheelchair's got a lot of metal on it. But I'm just saying, hey, you know, right here. And it got bright, the sky got bright, just like I noticed a little bit of brightness off the other ones, but this is before I noticed it hit the ground. And it looked like the White House got even wider looking, and before it hit the ground, I couldn't see the gate. The trees looked white
Like
instead
a-
of green foliage, and the lawn obviously that's green, and it all looked white. And then for also a minute and a half, I would say, you know, I thought I'd gone blind.
Wow.
But it was white, not black. And I have blind friends, you know. Of course.
So it was like a flashbang.
Yeah, it was a flash thing. And then about, I'd say a minute and a half later, my sight started, I started being able to see images again. So I'm like, oh, good. I thought maybe it like fried my cornea, you know? And then they were already yelling up to 8th Street. They kind of take a little lenient on me, you know, but they still were going to move me up to 8th Street when they didn't want other fatalities like happen in the park, right?
And that's like what, 50 yards away right there? If that?
Yeah, it's less than that.
120 feet.
Wow.
Approximately.
And you remember the
120 feet from that peace sign, not from the
But
the
you were
edge
right
of
here,
the
so it's
vigil.
120 feet.
And did it sound like the sky just ripped open?
It's not about me, it's about the vigil.
I'm saying you were right here, so it's 120 feet from you.
Okay, so it's about it's not that far from the vigil.
Okay.
On the back of the vigil, you were up front.
And
Sorry,
have
brother,
you
but
witnessed?
the vigil is we're talking. This is an interview about the vigil. It's not about me.
Nah.
No, what I
It's
said
never
was
about me.
the distance from you to the tree was about 120 feet.
Maybe.
And have you seen lightning like that before right here?
Also, you went around that breaking. You didn't go straight. You didn't take a straight shot, Joe. It's much less. It's probably about 90 or 80 feet.
Okay.
is about 8.
And what do you call it?
That's
Have you
that's
seen
how-
lightning like that hit this area, this close to you?
No, not this close.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen it hit within Northwest. I've noticed lightning hit where it looked like it hit Chinatown, which is